What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And I felt like it was finally time for me to do a mock draft. We're about 3 weeks away from the NFL draft, and I haven't given you guys very much draft coverage yet, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering my draft thoughts, who I like in the draft. I haven't expanded too much on that yet, and the draft is right around the corner, so this will be one of many mock drafts in the next few weeks. This will be one of many prospect videos in the next few weeks. I probably am not going to have enough time for any film breakdowns or anything like that, but I will give you guys videos talking about who I like and the reasons why, and probably a couple of videos on who I dislike. So with all that being said, we're going to do a mock draft, and I'm going to take this opportunity to also talk about a couple prospects that I like that are available at each pick. I will try to at least give you guys some bits of info on the guys available and not just the guys that I pick, but we're going to do all 7 rounds and we're going to see what happens. So I think this first round pick, it's pretty obvious where the Chiefs should go with it. I'm probably not going to... I might do some trades in this, but I'm not going to do a trade here at this pick. So we're going to reject all these. But I think it's pretty obvious that the Chiefs probably need to go wide receiver with the first round pick. Now, I could be talked into some other guys and be told that the Kansas City Chiefs can just wait till round 2 to draft a receiver just because of how deep this class is. But with everything going on with Rashee Rice... and the fact that he's probably going to miss some games next year, with the fact that Rashee Rice is the only guy even under contract for 2025, you just got to have a receiver at this pick, in my opinion, and you want someone that you know is going to be able to come in and contribute in year 1. You can't have another Sky Moore situation, because even though I said this wide receiver class is deep, and it is, you can't risk waiting till later in the draft and picking up a better value just because there's a chance that guy could turn out to be Sky Moore. You know, for every Rashee Rice, there is a Sky Moore. But let's look and see who's available. So there is Xavier Worthy, who, you know, a lot of people are kind of mixed on him. You know, he had that blazing speed at the combine. He's becoming a little bit overrated because of it, but also I think he's becoming underrated at the same time because people are talking about his height and weight, which, yes, he is very small. However, I don't think his combine weight is his game day weight, and I also think that if you're just picking him up to play a specific role or to learn behind Hollywood Brown, who's only on a 1-year deal, then that pick could make some sense. Then you have Ladd McConkey, who a lot of people like because he's kind of a high floor type of player who can get open with ease, and he's going to be playing for a long time in the NFL, I think. There's Troy Franklin. I'm a little bit lower on him. Those are kind of the guys that would make some sense here at 32, or that you could expect to see at 32. Offensive tackle. Now, there's a lot of people who would prefer the Chiefs to take an offensive tackle in round 1, and I get that, but I just think this pick, if the right guy is there, needs to be a receiver. Jordan Morgan from Arizona, a lot of people like him. I think, you know, I was intrigued by him a lot at first. He's very athletic, but I think he might be a guard at the next level. I'm just not sure that he has the profile to play tackle. He might be an interior guy, and I don't think you should be spending a first-round pick on an interior and offensive lineman. You get the tackle from BYU. We know Andy Reid has that BYU bias. So, hey, look, if he's available, I could see that. But I don't know, man. I think this pick has to be a wide receiver. As you get down the list, you see the other guys that are available, though, and that will likely be available at the Chiefs' next pick. You got Jalen Polk from Washington, Xavier Legette from South Carolina. So, like, again, I can be talked into waiting to the second pick, but also the second pick could also be another receiver, because if the Chiefs don't sign another veteran this offseason, I think you have to come out of this draft with 2 receivers. But for this pick, I'm not going to spend too much more time on it, and we'll get moving throughout this draft. I think I'm going to go Ladd McConkey just because, and I know they have him as being a little bit of a reach here, but I don't think he'd be available. at the Chiefs' next pick. I love his floor. I love his ability to get open. And I think he's a better fit for the offense for next year at the very least than Xavier Worthy, because Xavier Worthy, I feel like is going to be more of a sit behind Hollywood and Brown and learn type of pick. And I want a guy that can help us. So I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey at 32. All right, here we are at pick 64. I'll try and see what kind of trades are being offered to us. I don't really like that from the Lions. That's all we're being offered right now. Here, we'll counter the Lions offer with something, because I'd be totally fine dropping down a few picks. Let's take away that, or let's give them. We'll drop down a couple spots if they can upgrade our pick from 173 to 164. Let's see if they take that. Okay, it's been accepted. Perfect. So we dropped down a few spots and upgrade one of our later picks. I'm going to reject that. So with that, that worked out perfectly, because nobody that went really was anyone that I was going to consider taking at this pick, I don't think. As far as wide receivers still available, Roman Wilson's there, Ricky Pearsall, Johnny Wilson. I think those are all kind of third-round guys to me. I really do like Ricky Pearsall, though, and I don't think he's going to be available at the next pick. But this is where you can start to maybe look at some offensive tackle prospects, or even defensive line. We know that the Chiefs need help on the defensive line. Ooh, Chris Jenkins from Michigan. That would be a nice pick here. We definitely need DT help. I wonder who they have at edge still. Okay, so they have Brandon Dorless from Oregon, but he's probably a third-round guy. Edge is not really a great value here at this point. Cornerback, same story. You got Braden Fisk from Florida State. I really like him too. I remember watching the ACC championship between Louisville and Florida State, and the quarterback play was terrible on both sides, but Braden Fisk stood out to me. I mean, just he was in on every single play. The motor with this guy is insane. Little bit undersized, but he is an athletic freak. I'm kind of interested in taking him. I think we're fine at wide receiver at the moment because of our first round pick. I'm not really seeing anyone else that's really worth taking here. Offensive tackle, okay, the other Washington tackle, the tackle from Yale. These guys are also kind of, this would be too rich for them, in my opinion. And the Yale tackle I'm skeptical of because of the level of competition. I think I'm going to go defensive tackle here because, look, the Chiefs, even though they ran it back at defensive tackle, most of you know how I feel about their defensive tackle room. I still don't think it's very good. I thought it was a weakness last year. I would rather them try and upgrade, or I wouldn't let the moves that they've made in free agency at defensive tackle prevent them from trying to add talent there. And Charles Omenihu was slated to be playing a lot of snaps inside next year. That was part of the reason that they brought him in, was because he could play inside and out, and you don't have him for at least the first quarter of the season. And Mike Dana, we think that he'll be brought back at some point, but he's not at the time of making this video. Now I'm just kind of torn between Chris Jenkins and Braden Fisk. I feel like Jenkins kind of fits the Chiefs scheme a little bit better. But man, I really love the upside with Fisk. I'm going to go Chris Jenkins though. I think I love, his size and his athleticism. Braden Fisk, I guess he's a little bit bigger than I thought, at least watching him at the combine, but man, I'm torn. I am torn here. I guess if we're going with pass rush juice, I'll go with Fisk. Let's give Chris Jones that pass rushing partner on the inside. I would love to see that. I'm going to go with Fisk. I don't think you could go wrong with either player there. All right, here we are at pick 95. All right. So, Johnny Wilson, the wide receiver from Florida State, still available, I see. I really like him in the third round as kind of a wide receiver tight end hybrid. I know some people have kind of cooled on him, but super athletic for his size. He's got a massive frame. And this comparison is going to kind of scare some people, but he does remind me a little bit of like Chase Claypool a few years ago, which Chase Claypool, his first couple years in the league was pretty good. I don't know what happened, if his motivation just was gone or if he didn't really love the game of football or whatever, but he's had the potential to be very good, and I was one that was pounding the table for the Chiefs to kind of take him and try him out at tight end. Johnny Wilson could be in the same boat. I really like him, and that would kind of kill two birds with one stone, if you want to add another receiver, but you're also kind of wanting to add a tight end in this draft. I see the guard, Dominic Pooney from Kansas. I know him personally, actually. If you guys have watched my videos for some time, I've mentioned that a couple times. I played high school football with him, and we know that the Chiefs are going to have to bring in another interior offensive lineman at some point because Trey Smith's a free agent. Joe Tooney's nearing the end of his contract after this year, so hey, you could bring in the next guard to replace them. Could definitely see the Chiefs doing that in this draft. I love the idea of adding Johnny Wilson as a weapon to this offense, though, and I think you want to make sure that what happened last year never happens again, and you provide Patrick Mahomes with, the best weapons possible, because last year we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm going to go with him, I think. I love Johnny Wilson. I'm also kind of a closeted Florida State fan. I love watching them. It's kind of like my second team, so I love Johnny Wilson, so I don't even care. Y'all can make fun of me for that pick in the comments, but I feel like that's a really good value pick right there. Now, at this point in the draft, round 4, this is kind of where I'd start looking at running back. I'd start looking at cornerback. We know Veach is good on day 3, trying to grab defensive backs. You lost L'Jarius Sneed after trading him. And then I think, this is a weak running back class, or a weaker running back class than years past, and I just think that you need to add some juice to this running back room. I wasn't a huge fan of this team bringing back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I hope they bring in J.K. Dobbins to add some juice, or as kind of a Jerick McKinnon replacement. Isaiah Pacheco, I go back and forth with him, whether I think he's a solid running back 1 or not. I feel like maybe he'd be better suited off as a running back 2, or at least a 1B, 1A, 1B with someone. So you need to bring in a running back. Jalen Wright from Tennessee is there. He's one of the best running backs in the SEC. Ray Davis as well. This might be the spot to take a running back. 4th round might be a little rich to some of you guys, but I'm telling you, look at this running back room and tell me that's okay. You need to add an explosive running back in this draft. Let's see who's there at corner or at edge, potentially. You got Jerry Jones, cornerback from Florida State. I do like him. Who else is here? Let's look at edge. Cedric Johnson from Ole Miss. These are all guys that we could definitely get later in the draft. I'm kind of looking at running back right now. But even running back, you could wait a little bit. I wonder, where's Isaac Arendo slated in this draft simulator? I know some of the draft simulators have him all over the place. Okay, they have him as the 177th ranked. Let's see if we can trade back, because I don't really love what's here at this pick. Let's try to trade back. Who else is here in the draft order? Let's try to go down to like here. What are they offering us? Or let's try to get back to like 150. Let's try the Saints. Let's see. New Orleans Saints. We'll have a little bit of fun and propose a trade here. All right. We'll give them 159, or we'll offer them 159 for 150, and we'll also ask for 190 as opposed to 227. Trade has been rejected. Okay. We'll try going down a little bit more. Let's deal with the Lions again. We'll offer the Lions something. Why not? We traded with them earlier. I'll propose a trade to the Lions. 159 for no. Hold on. I'm confused. They're below us though. Or 131. I'm sorry. I was trading the wrong pick. I was going to trade the wrong pick. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that. Maybe that's why the Saints trade didn't go through. Whatever. Okay, 131. Sorry. I was reading up their next pick And I assumed it was talking about this pick since we hadn't actually picked it. Okay. So we'll give them 131 for 152. That's probably why the Saints didn't accept it. And then we will ask for 201 as opposed to 227. How about that? That way we can try to get some better value at this next pick. All right. Well, a lot of the running backs went off the board, so that was probably the time to take a running back. Isaiah Davis from South Dakota State. Isaac Rendo's still on the board, though. And we have pick 159. Ooh, Javon Baker from UCF. I know he's kind of been rising up boards lately. We don't really need another receiver, but might be looking at BPA here. Defense. Edge. Jonah Ellis, Cedric Johnson. I'm kind of wanting to wait a little bit later and maybe grab like Miles Cole from Texas Tech, who I think has tons of upside. You could also look at bringing in a safety and just kind of playing around with them. Use them all over the field like Spags likes to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be a corner, but just defensive backs in general. Veach has been great at drafting in the later rounds. Keith Randolph from Illinois, DT. He can also play a little bit of defensive end. I remember back when I used to do sports edits and I used to do like commitment graphics and stuff like that. I actually did one for him, a top schools graphic, so I do know him as well. Man, let's go with Javon Baker, man. Let's just go BPA. Screw it. Why not? We'll be loaded at receiver. I don't even care. Now, let's see. Now I'm a little bit more comfortable taking a running back here. Just totally revamping this offense. I'm going to take my guy, Isaac Arendo. I don't know if you guys saw, like, and I'm a big proponent of, like, RAS scores and athleticism, of course. And he was, like, one of the best running backs ever with his RAS score, 9.9. And that's the highest you can get. Dude was a home run hitter for Louisville last year. And I think if you bring him in here, I'm very excited about the running back room. And he definitely had some juice, especially on those outside zone runs that we know that the Chiefs like to do, but Pacheco's not great at, and Clyde just is not physically capable of doing. All right, now we're at pick 164. Ooh, Jalen Carlese from Missouri, my guy. I'm surprised they have him this high up. I thought maybe he'd for sure be like 6th or 7th rounder at most, but he was kind of a underrated contributor on the Missouri defense, and there's talks of him moving to linebacker at the next level because he's a 225-pound safety that ran a 4.5 at the combine. He could kind of do a lot of things, kind of be a hybrid. I think he played a little bit of corner at Missouri. I think I might take him here just because of the upside. And I know I'm like, you guys can trust me on this one. Like, I do think, I'm a Mizzou fan, obviously, and all the talk is about Darius Robinson, Ennis Rakestraw, Chris Abrams-Drain. Love those guys. Jalen Carlese might be one of the best pro prospects in this draft out of the Missouri defense. And again, you talk about Veach with those late round defensive backs. I could see Jalen Carlese being a guy that they're looking at and saying he kind of be the Swiss Army knife on our defense. I'm going to go ahead and take him. I would love that. Maybe a little bit rich in the 5th round, but our next pick ain't until 201. So, all right, let's see. Edge. Ooh, looks like Miles Cole is gone. Where did he go? I'm curious. He went 173 to the Baltimore Ravens. We might not be getting an edge in this draft, but we definitely helped out the defensive line with that Fisk pick, and then Chris Jones can play somewhere outside. And then I think you have enough bodies to kind of fill in wherever. And then hopefully you bring back Mike Dana. We never did get an offensive tackle. But, if they didn't, I expect the Chiefs to grab an offensive tackle, but even if they don't, the thing is, you're probably going to bring back a Donovan Smith or bring in a veteran. And then, look, I think people are counting out Wanya Morris already, and I don't think that you can be counting him out. Like, there's still a chance that he can win that job or become the eventual starter at left tackle. It's just that he was a rookie last year, and rookie tackles tend to struggle. So it's not like it's a disaster if you come out of this draft without an offensive tackle. And it's hard to get an offensive tackle when you're picking at the end of every round. Blake Watson, you can always pick him another running back. I like him. Memphis has quietly produced some really good running backs over the years. At this point, man, there's not too much left. Tommy Eichenberg, the linebacker for Ohio State. Beach did talk about maybe drafting a quarterback in this draft, the late developmental guy, but Ooh, Jarius Monroe, the cornerback from Tulane. A 2.67 RAS. Yikes. I don't know about that translating at the next level when your score is that low. That's not great. Well, man, there's not much. I'll go ahead and take Blake Watson, the running back, and we'll just have one of the best running back rooms in the league next year. Why not? It's BPA now. That's all the late rounds are. It's BPA. These guys might not even make the roster. But there you go, guys. That's my mock draft right there. This is my mock draft 1.0. There will be plenty more to come. But just looking at what I did in this draft, we got Ladd McConkey in round 1, Braden Fisk in round 2. The defensive tackle could definitely help out this defensive line. Johnny Wilson, that was kind of like my pick there at wide receiver. Maybe play some tight end a little bit. Javon Baker from UCF, he was rising up boards. I just decided why not. He was clearly the best player available. You grab Isaac Orendo, one of the hottest running back prospects in this draft, a guy that I think could help out in the secondary and be the next late round defensive back steal by Brett Veach and Jalen Carlise, who could even play, some sub linebacker and that sort of thing. And then I picked up another high upside running back, since you only have 2 on roster right now and you only have 1 under contract for 2025. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're looking for a draft to solve the Chiefs wide receiver problems, look no further than this mock draft by me. And I don't think the offense would struggle very much next year if this was the draft. But yeah, you guys let me know down in the comments what you think of my first mock draft. Obviously, it's not perfect, and we're going to try a ton of different mock drafts and different simulators too, but that's my mock draft 1.0 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me know down below what you thought of my picks, if you agree, disagree with any of them. With all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this, and make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. See you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!